What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So you just can't seem to get any bigger. You're working out, you're pretty consistent, your diet's okay, but you're just not seeing that noticeable size difference on your body. I am here to provide some insight on meal prep, what macros you should be looking for, and consistency in the gym. Yes, I still have my Christmas lights up. The bus is now in a shop, so it's kind of nice to have the warmth of the lights. And I'm beardless, so that's fun. So I went downtown today to do some B-roll, film some stuff for my TikTok. I was gonna try to film this video outside, but it was ridiculously cold, so here I am in my kitchen. But while I was downtown, I got a Jimmy John's sandwich. I always get a number 9 with no tomatoes. The number 9 is an Italian sub. It's got a bunch of different meat on it. I think it's probably the most meat on any sandwich on their menu. I'm not sure about that. But the cool thing about Jimmy John's is that they have all the macros for all the sandwiches online. And I've looked that sandwich up. It's a little over 1,000 calories, which is insane. I think it's like 1,100 calories. But I know that because I decided to go online and look it up and lock it away. So now every time I eat a sandwich from Jimmy John's, I know exactly what I'm putting in my body. And that kind of brings me to my first point, which is about meal planning. So meal prep, meal planning, I think the two main issues that you're having with it is that you think it's too hard and you think it's gonna be a constant battle that's just gonna be forever. Maybe you tried it for a couple days and you were just like, I cannot do this for weeks on end. Number one, it's not as hard as people make it sound. In my case, I'm always focusing on the protein because I have those macros memorized, and I have found some pretty easy ways to do stuff. So I have the frozen salmon fillets that I get from Costco. Those are really nice. I can cook them up. This microwave behind me is like a convection microwave oven combo, and it'll cook salmon up really nicely. It takes like maybe 6 minutes. Usually I eat my protein cold. That's another thing. I don't like expect my protein to be warm. I always have a rotisserie chicken that I'm cutting off of and turkey. So chicken, turkey, and salmon are like the base common proteins for me. And of course I eat my eggs in the morning. I always have a chance to make eggs in the morning. So the protein is what I focus on, and then I kind of follow up with carbohydrates. And I'm okay with eating bread. I think that's fine, especially if it's like a whole wheat. That's totally fine. Oh, those sweet potato fries. Yeah, solid macros on these guys. 24 grams of carbs in a serving, and there's 7 servings in this bag. So I'll air fry those. That's pretty simple. But really, I would start with just figuring out protein. Figure out how to prep yourself your protein and go from there. I mean, it's a day-to-day thing for me. I don't prep days ahead. I make sure I buy food days ahead, but I don't prep food days ahead. And the second thing is learning what you're putting in your body and remembering it. So like I said about the Jimmy John's sandwich, like you just need to lock those things away, and after a while you won't have to always be reading labels and reading menus. You're gonna remember exactly what you're putting in your body every single meal. I still know what I'm eating. It might not be perfect prep, but I know what I'm putting in my body. So you'll memorize stuff, and it's not gonna be this constant battle of trying to figure this stuff out. Number 2, the macros that you need to be looking for. I have these M&Ms here. I'll use this label as an example. So the macros that I look for consistently are calories, carbohydrates, protein, fat, and sodium. And I'll kind of go through them real quick. Calories, obviously, we all know why we need to know how many calories. It's if we're trying to hit a certain benchmark, you need to always be looking at your calories. Carbohydrates, it's essential that you know how many carbs you're eating because carbs are so necessary for you to survive unless you're going to be in ketosis, which you probably are not. Your brain actually uses carbs, so that's so important to know. Protein, your muscles cannot grow without protein. They feed off of protein, so you need to know how much protein you're eating. Fat is really, really important as well. It's kind of one of those ones we put by the wayside, but you don't want to do that. Fat is really, really important, especially for people that are athletic or pushing their bodies all the time. A good example of a healthy fat would be an avocado. You don't want to be eating saturated fats and things. And then sodium, last but not least. For sedentary individuals, sodium is always made out to be really bad for you, and that's because most people are sedentary, so mainstream media kind of says we should stay away from sodium. But for somebody who's athletic, who pushes themselves consistently, and if you're sweating a lot and you're keeping up on your water intake, you need to make sure that your sodium levels are actually staying elevated, especially if you're eating really clean, you're eating whole foods. You might miss out on that. There's actually some reports of marathon runners who have like passed out, and some who've even died from lack of sodium. So it's important to know what sodium is in what you're eating. Once you know what macros you need to look for, you can real quick just glance at the label and you'll know exactly what to look for. So then consistency in the gym. Now this is kind of the biggest one for people who are trying to put on mass and who are natural athletes and who just feel like they're not seeing gains. It takes so much time. I've been working out really consistently for 6 years now. And not only is it about learning how to work out and training your body and that muscle maturity, it's like your body's growing up as you get older, right? Your body is becoming more mature, for lack of a better term. And so you get better at working out as you go on, and your body gets better at learning how to get bigger as you go on. And so the first 2 or 3 or 4 years are just learning. I mean, we're always learning, but you really need to be consistent if you expect to see size difference. And then I think hand in hand with that, you need to realize that most people need to be more realistic about what they expect out of their body. I see a lot of these guys, you know, on TikTok especially, where you'll see this guy that's super yoked up and he looks great. He's done all this work. Maybe he's on something, maybe he's not. But you'll get these young guys in the comments that are like, I found my goal physique. This is it. You know, this is my goal physique. And it's awesome to have goals and kind of have a picture. For me, actually, it was Zach Ainsley, and now that I think of that off the top of my head. And if you go look him up, we actually kind of do have similar physiques. So I don't think that was like way out of this world. But, you know, there are guys that are, the guys that you see at the peak of the game that are absolutely massive. Like, you know, Jake Cutler was like close to 300 pounds in his offseason. These guys are on HGH. Like, it's not possible without that. So, you know that. And then also, like, genetically, do you really think that you have that ability? No, probably not. You're probably going to be like me, where after 6 years, you know, you're still right at 185 pounds. You know, my arms are like maybe 17 inches with a pump. You know, I'm not that big. I'm aesthetic, but not big. So just be more realistic with yourself about what your body might end up looking like, and that way it's gonna be understandable why it's taking so long and why consistency in the gym is such an important aspect of your success. You know, and besides being more realistic with yourself about what your physique might look like, I think you also need to just learn to fall in love with every aspect of working out. That's what's going to help you with your consistency, is, you know, not looking in the mirror and seeing some guy that has arms that are twice the size that they were. That's not going to do it for you, because it's not going to happen. You're going to burn out if that's your expectation. You need to fall in love with actually working out, learning proper technique, you know, learning from new people, meeting new people in the gym and learning from them, working out with them, forging new relationships, learning new exercises, trying new diets. I mean, there's so many things that go along with this, and that is what you need to fall in love with, because that's what's going to keep you consistent. If you just keep looking in the mirror and expecting to see some massive change, you're going to burn out. It's about making small physical changes over time and celebrating those wins, but, you know, falling in love with the process and not just seeking results. If you're curious what a full day of eating for me looks like and kind of what meal prep and macro counting looks like for me, I did a video on that. I'll link that above. I appreciate all you guys for watching my videos. If you do struggle putting on mass, consider subscribing. That's kind of what this channel is for. I post videos every Friday. I'll see you next week.